most people don't even know. Like Shaq owns Forever 21. He owns Brook Brothers. He owns the rights to Marilyn Monroe. Like, he is like the most astute businessman that I know. But he gives you that, push me in a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
I'm a big guy. I'm being goofy. And he's taking them to the bank every day.
Oh, my God,
like,
bro.
Brooks Brothers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Forever 21?
Yes, sir.
The rights to Marilyn Monroe?
Come on, man.
Reebok?
Come on.
That's
Man.
Shaq.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Thank you for joining me here with Conversations with Taz. For Get Into It with Taz and Chris. And I had to play that clip because a lot of people just think of Jack being goofy and all this other stuff, but he's an astute businessman, an astute businessman who has taught his children to be astute business people as well. And his ex-wife, his bestie, Shawnee, amazing in business as well. Yeah. There's more to life. You know, you can have a great life after sports. Y'all need to pay attention.
Well, I mean, he always talked about how, you know, he regrets the fact that he wasn't really there, and that he, you know, the kids were growing up and all this, and he was playing ball, and, you know, so he's definitely tried to make up and seize the moment and not just be more of a dad, but a businessman. I mean, he's probably he's probably talked a lot with Magic Johnson and some others about how to really, you know, get out there and have an effect. So, yeah.
Oh, most definitely. Now, we do have a few updates to bring you all, but most importantly, especially if you were in the Maryland, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey area, if you can avoid going outside, please do. If you do have to go outside, please make sure you wear a mask. Try not to be outside for longer than an hour. The most recent reports I heard was that being outside for an hour right now because of the Canadian wildfires is the equivalent of smoking a pack of cigarettes in that time. So please be careful. Check on your loved ones, whether they have respiratory problems or not, because let's not forget, COVID is still a thing, and there are other issues that are floating around the country right now and internationally that could come across with this haze, because we still have a variant of the bird flu that has made a resurrection, because things mutate, things get kicked up when people want to avoid vaccinations and avoid science. Now, regarding one of the updates, if you all have been following for a while, you know I've kept up on the Marine Dependa story, where on Memorial Day, this brilliant 20-something decided to publicly on Facebook call for the execution of the current POTUS. She decided to double and triple down and also offer death threats to other people. And some of you all were like, but Taz, they haven't done anything. First of all, the military isn't going to hold a press conference to tell you anything unless there's an actual arrest or they found out there were extreme plans to carry this through. But they do live in military base housing. So here's your update. We'll see you in 2 and 2.
So in case y'all haven't heard yet, it would appear that KKK Kaylee Campbell-Layton and her hubby have gotten a visit from the Secret Service. I mean, who saw that one coming? But anybody who has ever been in the military, been married to somebody in the military, or is familiar with UCMJ knows that if the Secret Service is knocking on your door on your on-base housing, that's pretty much a death sentence for your career. I don't know a first sergeant, commander, whatever, that wants to have a soldier that is on the radar of the Secret Service. See, if you're a little bitty, shitty, tiny baby, Marine, Army, whatever, you don't want the base commander to know your name. You do not want to come across the blotter, and you don't want your wife coming across the blotter either. So if they get really pissy about simple things coming across the blotter, then yeah, they're going to get real fucking pissy about the Secret Service interviewing one of their Marines. This is why I was saying last week when people were like, well, nothing's happened yet. These things take time. And the Secret Service is clearly taking it seriously. You better believe the Marines will as well. So, like I said, this chick just killed her husband's military career, and we are now officially entering the find out phase. So please feel free to like, share, repost content. Follow me because I will be posting more updates as they come in. And yeah, get your popcorn ready.
Threatening the POTUS, especially as a military personnel, is extremely, extremely serious. And I also posted the video of Miss Kaylee stating how much she hates the government, but chose to, from all the evidence that she put out there on her public profiles, trick her now husband into marrying her in October of last year. Why would you marry into the military if you have such disdain for the government?
Right. Now we see how some of them are when they come out, but going in is, yeah, like you said, why would you
video? And the crazy part about it is, and why nobody is laughing her off, is because her and her husband, he's in on the shenanigans with her, shot the video where she was saying that she hated the government, but her husband was owned by the government, in the office for military base housing. And after the January 6th insurrection, nobody's playing games with these people.
No. Now they are the ones that come out of the military. They're highly recruited by these organizations because of their skills that they learned while they're in there. But going in with a certain mindset, make it make sense. That's, yeah.
And then for those of you all that are not aware, one of her TikTok videos was featured on Fox News. Surprising, because they don't fact check anything. And she is the woman who went viral for going in and lying about the Pride collection at Target. She is a bundle of,
Yeah.
Look at me, pick me.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have another update. This one's going to be a bit longer. This is regarding the Stand Your Ground murder that occurred over the weekend. So here's all the information all into one, and we'll talk about it on the other side. Now, these are a little bit longer, so you might want to cut up your volume and go get your snacks and beverages, and we'll see you on the other side.
J. Owens, a black mother of 4 young children, died Friday night after a dispute with her neighbor who shot her through a front door. According to a family lawyer, Owens' children were playing outside when the neighbor engaged them and threw a pair of skates at them. The lawyer says she also shouted racial slurs, and when Owens went to confront her, that woman shot and killed her.
The sheriff's office is saying that they're looking into whether this shooting was in self-defense, but that's an argument that the victim's family says is just not possible.
She had no weapon. She posed no imminent threat to anyone.
Authorities said that Owens knocked on the door of a neighbor who minutes earlier had an issue with Owens' children that were playing outside.
A closed, locked door. Door never opened. My daughter, my grandchildren's mother, was shot and killed.
The sheriff of Marion County said that the 2 women were yelling at each other through that front door, and that authorities haven't made an arrest yet because of Florida's Stand Your Ground law.
And what we have to rule out is whether the deadly force was justified or not before we can even make the arrest.
The sheriff said that the neighbors have had issues before, with at least 6 calls made to 911 since 2021. The name of that 58-year-old neighbor who shot Owens has not been released.
Susan Lawrence was arrested and charged with multiple counts, including manslaughter for the fatal shooting of her neighbor, A.J. Owens, following a dispute last Friday. The Marion County Sheriff's Office says Lawrence became upset over Owens' children playing in a nearby field. When Owens went to knock on her front door, Lawrence allegedly shot through the door, killing Owens. The mother of A.J. Owens, Pamela Diaz, spoke with MSNBC last hour.
As a mother, as a grandmother, the grief, the pain that I am bearing, watching my grandchildren go through this, words can never, never explain how I feel and how my babies feel, how AJ's babies feel.
Joining us now is NBC anchor Lindsay Reiser. Lindsay, what more do we know about the sheriff's decision to file charges?
Well, Jose, we know that they were able to talk to eyewitnesses who only came forward yesterday about what happened. They also interviewed Owen's children. Finally, they had specialists do that, and they did arrest her. And Susan Lorance was booked into jail at 4:25 this morning. Lorance also was interviewed by detectives, and she told them she had become angry over time at Owen's children. They were playing in that field near the apartment complex. Neighbors told our Joy Reid last night that this woman has a history of antagonizing and yelling at the neighborhood children. Lorance, according to police, according to detectives, threw a roller skate at one of Owen's children, hitting his toe. Remember that civil rights attorney Ben Crump also says she yelled racial slurs at the children. The children, we're told, left something in that field, an iPad or some sort. They went to Lorance's home to try and retrieve it. That is when detectives say Lorance swung an umbrella at them. The children went home, told their mother, AJ Owens. She came to try and talk to Lorance at her home. According to detectives in the family, she knocked on the door, asked for her to come out, and Lorance shot through her door, striking Owens in the chest and ultimately killing her. Lorance says that she did this in self-defense. She said that Owens had previously attacked her. We have not been able to corroborate that. But we do know that Lorance was arrested. She was charged with manslaughter, punishable offense in the first degree by 30 years, also charged with negligence, battery, and 2 counts of assault. And the sheriff talked about the stand your ground law and how that comes into play. This is what he said.
It does not apply in all situations. And this situation is a prime example of when it was not justified. It was simply a killing.
From the basketball hoops to the bikes left roadside, no doubt this neighborhood tells the story of a place where kids spend a lot of time outside. Today, the streets are quiet after days of tension.
She took someone's kid's mom away. She didn't just kill someone, she killed someone's mom.
Megan Stevens is talking about her neighbor from across the street, Susan Lorance, who's now charged with shooting her neighbor from next door, Ajika Owens, or AJ for short. Parents here say all the kids play outside together, many of them black or mixed. They say Lorance would often call them slurs before things escalated.
Calling them the N-word, hard R, whatever, stuff that.
This memorial right here is the result of what happened in this field. Now, people in this neighborhood say this field is where kids like to play. You can see why, because it has so much space, and this is where all the children in the area would come and play. Now, they say that Lorance really had an issue with kids playing near her home. It eventually escalated, and Owens came over from her house across the street to confront Lorance, and that's when deputies say she shot through her front door, killing Owens.
And I heard a bang on my door so loud that my windows were shaking. And I came outside and her son was literally gasping for air, telling me that his mother had been shot by the lady across the street.
You said you knew who that was?
I knew who it was immediately.
Phyllis Willis says these moments were heart-wrenching, seeing her friend and neighbor dead across the street. Her message to the woman accused of shooting AJ was simple.
I hope she rots in hell.
In Marion County.
Well, Governor DeSantis is running around claiming that the cesspool of crime is every place but Florida. Florida's crime is way worse than the places he's pointing a finger at. When he decided, oh, you don't need to register your guns, you can just go buy them, you can carry them around, and that stand your ground BS that other states picked up is turning the country into worse than the Wild West. Because now you get upset and you just say, oh, it's self-defense. People are carrying out their murderous tendencies and fantasies behind self-defense.
Absolutely. It clearly represents where their mindset is when it comes to how they view everyone else, whether black, brown, Asian, whoever, who knows who they're going to be shooting. But the fact that they're counting on whoever's running certain departments, that they're going to be able to claim things that it's my word against someone else's. So if we get the states wired a certain way and put people in certain offices, then we can do this stuff. And they're counting on the fact that they will take their side and think there must have been more there than there really was. And these are just blatant murders, for not just out of fear, but out of who they really are and how they really view other people. They don't view other people as humans. So what Florida's doing, and we saw everything coming out of Florida, especially when it comes to also immigrants. So we know that the emperor down there is clearly running his show the way that he wants his supporters to appreciate, because he knows what they want. And this craziness is what they want. There's a lot of those on the right that are, as much as they are against many communities, they're against government. They're against democracy. And this is what you're getting. This is just Florida we're talking about. I mean, we could talk about many states all night, but this is just Florida, and this is a presidential candidate. So, yeah, unfortunately, this opens the door wide open for a lot of bad players out there who should not have a gun. And they're encouraging gun ownership, but would they really? Because gun ownership means everybody gets a gun. Well, then it's, once again, my word against theirs. I'm shooting somebody of color. They had a gun too. They already are going to be thought of a certain way when it comes to gun owners that are black or brown. So it's not an even playing field. It's not a matter of they want everyone to be gun owners. No, they want certain people to be gun owners, like-minded people of them. So, yeah.
And you brought up the immigration down in Florida. Well, as always, they're backpedaling because the backbone of their economy is no longer there. Y'all, take a look at this.
Wow, so some Florida Republicans are now backtracking and begging immigrants to stay in Florida now that they realize that SB 1718 will affect them negatively as well. Rick Roth, a third-generation farmer and Florida Republican, admitted in a meeting in South Florida that yes, SB 1718 was created to scare you, and he told the audience to convince your people to stay now that agricultural workers are leaving the state and Florida farmers are mad. Here's a clip from that meeting. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments.
I'm a farmer and the farmers are mad as hell.
Yo soy un agricultor y los agricultores están bien bravos.
We are losing employees. They're already starting to move to Georgia and other states.
Estamos perdiendo empleados y se están mudando a otros estados como Georgia.
It's urgent that you talk to all your people and convince them this bill is 100% supposed to scare you.
Y la mala noticia es que este proyecto de ley 100% tiene el propósito de darles miedo.
I'm a farmer and the farmers are mad as hell.
Yo soy un agricultor y los agricultores están bien bravos.
We are losing employees. They're already starting to move to Georgia and other states.
Estamos perdiendo empleados y se están mudando a otros estados como Georgia.
It's urgent that you talk to all your people and convince them that you have resources, state representatives, and other people that can explain the bill to you.
Es urgente que ustedes hablen con sus personas porque tenemos representantes estatales que pueden explicarles este proyecto de ley.
We had the best president in my life in the last 30 years, and I'm still supporting Donald Trump. I love my governor. He's the greatest governor. He's the greatest governor in...
No sabía que iba a tener que hablar, pensaba que iba a contestar preguntas y que iba a hablar nada más que Rick Ross, que ha hecho un gran trabajo, nuestro representante catalán. I didn't know that I was supposed to speak. I thought that Rick was going to speak, our state representative, and I was just going to answer questions. So I really didn't prepare anything. But I agree with everything that Representative Roth said. This is a bill basically to scare people from coming to the state of Florida, and I think that it's done its purpose. Este proyecto de ley es un proyecto para meterle miedo a las personas que no vengan al estado de la Florida, y yo creo que ha hecho su trabajo. This bill really doesn't have any teeth. Este proyecto de ley no tiene dientes, ¿no? Y aunque nosotros somos todos inmigrantes, yo nací en Cuba y vine a este país cuando tenía 2 años. And even though we're immigrants, I was born in Cuba and I came when I was 2 years old. We need to have immigration that is legal. We need to have legal immigration, and the federal government has completely left us, they haven't done their job. Yo vine de Cuba cuando tenía 2 años, yo soy inmigrante, este es un país de inmigrantes y la inmigración legal es algo maravilloso y muy necesaria, pero el gobierno federal nos ha fallado completamente. It's very important that we have the proper...
Republican lawmakers in Florida held an emergency meeting this week where they begged immigrants to please stay in Florida. The state's about to experience massive economic pain thanks to Ron DeSantis, the guy who's running for president. His recent bill targets migrant workers in Florida, and it's really, really bad for Florida, possibly the entire Southeast. Ring of Fire's Farron Cousins joins me to talk about it. Farron, this story is nauseating. If there's somebody that's followed this from beginning, to know what these creeps have done behind closed doors, pick it up.
Yeah, what we saw this week was down in Hialeah, Florida. You had 3 Republican lawmakers, and we got to name them, State Representative Lena Garcia, Rick Roth, and Juan Barkeen, held this meeting in South Florida behind closed doors. They've got their business leaders who are freaked out about the thought of losing all their migrant labor. So these lawmakers get up on stage, and it's all on video, and they tell them, listen, there's no teeth in this bill. It's all for politics. It's all for show.
Right.
So what you have to do is you got to tell your migrant workers don't leave. Tell your migrant workers to tell their migrant friends don't leave the state, because we're all panicked about it. And this is all on video. Thomas Kennedy, reporter from South Florida, caught it all.
So do you think this guy who's running for president didn't know that? Didn't know that this was a show? And then all of a sudden, the construction industry is calling Tallahassee, say, what the hell? What have you done? This is our workforce. We can't build houses without them. We can't put roofs on houses without them. The citrus industry saying, who in the world do you think is going to pick the oranges now? They're calling him. They're calling Republican representatives and say, have you gone frigging crazy? Because what's happening is they understand this. The entire GDP of Florida is going to be in the tank. So now we learn they knew that all along. This was a scare tactic. This was all about the culture wars. We want to out-culture war Trump. We want to look so far to the right that we look like crazy people. Well, he's done it. He looks like a crazy man, and the idiots in Tallahassee look even crazier, don't they?
They really do, and I'm glad you used that phrase, scare tactic, because that is what those lawmakers down in South Florida said. They said this law is just a scare tactic. The goal is to keep people, migrants, from coming into Florida. We don't want to lose the ones we've got. It's one of those, you're the good ones. We don't want the other ones coming in.
We don't want the bad ones. It's all about mobility. This is what they miss totally. Well, I don't think they missed it. I think they had closed door meetings. I promise you. They had closed door meetings in Tallahassee, and you had a bunch of cigar smoking punks talking about the idea, this is perfect. We're going to scare the hell out of everybody. We're out of immigrants. We're going to look like we're right of Attila the Hun. We're going to look like we're winning the culture war. And all of a sudden, this meeting takes place down in Hialeah County, and they say, look, it was just a show. The crazy man here was just putting on a show. The guy running for president was just putting on a show. Well, if he's going to put a show like that on in Florida, think of what he's going to do in Washington, D.C. Think about that. And if he says, well, I didn't have any control over the legislators, nonsense, right?
Oh, exactly. This bill came from Ron DeSantis. They know, everybody in that legislature knows that this is what he wanted. He wouldn't have signed it. He wouldn't have pushed it. He wouldn't be bragging about it out there on the campaign trail. And every one of them, you're right, knows how devastating this is. What I don't think they expected was the massive backlash from their donors, because those are the people who are going to first immediately get hurt.
The donors are going crazy. This guy has gotten all of his money from the Chamber of Commerce types. The Chamber of Commerce types are writing, we need more immigrants. Yeah. I mean, that's their big, we need more immigrants. So this guy, with other little creatures in Tallahassee, says, well, look, we're going to take advantage of this. We're going to look like we're anti-immigration, and people are going to love us for it. Next day, all the donors start calling him, have you lost your frigging mind, right? Now this is admitted. I mean, they're admitting it in this meeting, right? One more time, tell the viewers what was said in this meeting.
Yeah, again, I'm going to give full credit, obviously, Thomas Kennedy, who captured
great
this.
Work here.
These three lawmakers are sitting there telling these people, don't panic. It's all for show. This is just politics. There's a political agenda behind it. It's not meant to really be enforced. They said there's no teeth in it.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's worked because they're leaving already, buddy.
They are.
They're going to Alabama, they're going to Mississippi, they're going to Georgia, and this guy's going to have to explain to Florida consumers, and the cats in Tallahassee are going to have to explain to the consumers why we've increased the cost of building a house by 20%, why now orange juice costs us $10 a bottle. Well, they're going to have some explaining to do, and he thinks this is going to help him. It's just the opposite. My prediction is this might be a deal killer for this guy. Once people understand this is the guy who wants to do the same kind of thing running the entire country.
Our U.S. economy would be crippled if we did what DeSantis has done to Florida to the rest of the United States. When he says, let's make America Florida, that's not a promise, that's a threat. It is an absolute threat that he wants to do that.
It should scare the bejesus out of everybody. Well, you know, it's life in the political lane. But you know what? It did so much harm to Florida that it's already harmed our economy. It's only going to get worse.
Well, that's the thing. It's harmed us so much already, and it technically hasn't gone into effect yet.
Right.
But what we've seen, there's reports you've got migrants in Florida, immigrants, even legal immigrants, who are now afraid to leave their homes. Restaurants are losing business because people aren't going in because I don't want people to assume I'm an illegal immigrant and then I get arrested.
Right.
It is having a chilling effect.
We're going to talk
in every
about that
industry.
next segment.
And don't forget that Governor Newsom of California has filed a lawsuit against DeSantis because once again he decided to trick people trying to get their citizenship legally, and he put them on a plane and dropped them off in California.
Yeah.
So this isn't just political fun.
Right. So that's on his resume as, you know, a candidate for the country. You know, of course, you know, these are things that, you know, the majority would support. I mean, where does he think this is all going? Like I said, they're doing things that their base wants. But the majority, this is against, like, the better majority of this country. Everything that they're doing, they're using their own people's money to carry out their acts. So, yeah, Floridians, this is where your money is going for a lot of these. Like I said,
and this is why now renters in Florida, landlords can now just charge them an arbitrary junk tax, junk fee every month tacked onto their rent with no minimum, no maximum on it, because they need these landlords to be able to pay higher taxes. DeSantis has screwed over things with Disney. Insurance companies are raping the citizens of Florida exponentially. The cost of living is skyrocketing. Like, it is a cesspool of crazy.
And how they handle COVID. I mean, promoting whatever, not promoting science, promoting an agenda.
And forgetting that Florida, now way back when, as a freshman in college, I had a political science professor who, first day of class, brought up Florida and the crime rate of Florida at that time. And he said, well, a big chunk of it are retirees. People retire, they want to be in the sunshine state. When COVID hit, Ron DeSantis was not thinking, but he admits he doesn't pay attention to polls. He doesn't pay attention to what the people actually want.
Yeah.
He forgot COVID is going to kill off these people that you need money from.
Yeah.
All these retirement communities you've built in Florida, where are you going to get the money from, Ron? Yeah. You have professional athletes moving out. You
Yeah. Right. The only one moving in would be a Tesla plant.
And that's only because he allowed them to have zero liability. So it's like people get injured, cannot work, but they cannot sue their employer. So now they have no income. Like, this is the mindset of red states. And then they go, oh, the blue states, we pay for you all. No, that is in reverse. The blue states are paying for the red states because you all do everything in your power to make sure people don't have money to survive. Look at Governor Greg Abbott, who got a phenomenal high-paying settlement when he became paralyzed. Then immediately went in and changed the law so no one else could get a settlement like he could. But let's take a pause for the cause, because it is Juneteenth month and it is Pride. So let's get into that beautiful merch.
Merch time.
I don't dance, I just float. I don't dance, I just float. I just float. I'm light as a feather, yeah baby I float. It's hard to look at my resume and not find a reason to toast. She throwing that thing in a circle, making it viral, I might just elope. Say listen.
In 2023, conservative activists have advanced the theory that corporations are pushing a radical pro-LGBTQ agenda. But a popular information investigation reveals 25 rainbow flag-waving corporations have donated $13.5 million to anti-gay politicians since January of 2022. While major corporations are continuing to spend token amounts marketing to the LGBTQ community, which has over $1 trillion in purchasing power, the same companies are spending millions backing anti-LGBTQ politicians. Bud Light is facing boycotts because they sent a trans influencer a few cans of beer. But Bud Light's parent company, Anheuser-Busch, donated $227,000 to anti-gay politicians since January of 2022. NBC Universal says it celebrates Pride and LGBTQ changemakers, organizations, and entertainers all year long. But NBC Universal has donated at least $1,046,000 to anti-LGBTQ politicians since last year. NBC Universal's donations include $5,000 to Tennessee Governor Bill Lee, who has signed at least 7 anti-LGBTQ bills this year alone. In total, 25 major companies have donated $13.5 million to anti-LGBTQ politicians since January of last year. Here's the breakdown. This is Popular Information, a newsletter that holds the powerful accountable. Find the full report on Substack and follow along here for more accountability journalism.
Now, I added that clip because all of you conservatives out there, I know y'all like to pop in from time to time, you're boycotting the companies that are funding the politicians and the legislation that you want. I told y'all do not know how to protest. You do not know how to properly boycott. You do zero research. You just see a few colorful t-shirts and notebooks in a store and go, they're pushing an agenda. No. Plus, like I said before, you all bring it up and share it amongst your friends. If it's something I don't like, I don't go looking for it and I don't share it amongst my friends. The things I share amongst my friends are the things that we mutually like. I'm not going, like, I am not a fan of heavy metal music. I have nothing against it, just not my thing. Guess what I don't search on the internet? Heavy metal music. Guess what I don't share to my friends? Heavy metal music. It's that simple.
That's right. I do the same when it comes to country music. So instead, I promote things like Tribe Called Quest, old school. But yeah, it's people have this idea that by putting something on a rack for you to buy is somehow trying to influence your shopping experience. It's called marketing. It's why would any business want to restrict who they make merchandise for? What, I mean, that's cutting your business. You would want to, even if, not to say that they aren't against certain communities, but that's kind of a business killer if you're going to restrict, just like with Bud Light and all that. Why would a company as big as Budweiser want to limit? They know that anybody anywhere can purchase their product. What's the big deal? They stick football teams on there. Does it mean everyone's a football fan? No. But they can put whatever they want on their product. It's up to them. It's their company. And for someone to tell someone how to run their company in a way that would be negative for the majority, well, that's wrong in itself. It's not like somebody saying, well, I don't want you to go to that bakery down the street because, like we know in the past, that because they sell cakes to anybody. They made a cake for a queer couple or something. It's
and it's like, first of all, my thing is, because even with the whole Bud Light controversy, people were like, well, previously Bud Light advertised to this demographic. Do you think that's the only people who purchase things? Because I've purchased things and never seen a commercial about it, never seen an ad about it. It's just either I needed it or I wanted it. And my biggest thing is they're like, well, it's pushing it down your throat. Most stores, department stores, have a whole maternity section with maternity-clad mannequins and everything else that are right at the forefront. Are they pushing for you to get pregnant or get someone pregnant? No. They have candy at the checkout aisle and chapsticks and hand sanitizers that we know y'all didn't use and magazines. Are they pushing an agenda for you? No.
Yeah. For conspiracy theorists, though, they're going to read into, well, if I'm going to a checkout line at the grocery store and, oh my God, there's magazines on, UFO sightings, or there's magazines on, Elvis is still alive. They're pushing, certain things. And no, it's sale. It's called sales. They've been doing it like forever. People that read into something more than what it should be and turn it into a negative. I mean, where do you think you are? I mean, go live on an island with a volleyball. I mean,
exactly. Go find.
Hey, Puppers.
Yeah, Puppers is crackheading tonight. But from there, let's talk about the biggest breakup of the year thus far. Shannon and Skip. Something, go get some snacks. This is going to be one of our longer recaps. Here we go.
Why is Shannon Sharp leaving Undisputed? Well, do you remember when this happened?
I won't talk about what I want to talk about because I got the floor. Baker Mayfield is dead last in 2022 in QBR.
Blah, blah,
Here's your
blah,
percentage.
blah.
You gonna let me talk?
If that wasn't enough, you remember when Skip Bayless straight up disrespected Shannon Sharpe?
Every time I call something into question, I'm jealous.
No,
Skip, I did what I did.
never said you were jealous of Baker Mayfield.
Skip, I did what I did. You make it seem like I was a bum. I'm in the effing Hall of Fame.
Okay,
I got 3 Super Bowls.
So what?
So what?
He's way better than you were.
And if that isn't enough, what about when Skip Bayless tweeted out about Damar Hamlin, which resulted in Shannon Sharpe no-showing?
I apologize for what we're going to set out to do here today. Obviously, my partner Shannon Sharpe is not here today. I look forward to seeing him tomorrow.
All of this contributes to the fact that Shannon Sharpe has officially reached an agreement with Fox Sports on a buyout for his contract.
There it is. The level of responsibility that Brady imposes upon himself has always been massive. And this year, he's taxed to the max. One example, on night before each game, Brady runs a separate meeting with the Bucs skill players, during which he goes over game plans, makes tweaks to the assignments and formation, and provides a revised blueprint. One which first-year head coach Todd Bowles, offensive coordinator Byron Leftwich, and the rest of the staff are left to discover in real time once the game begins. If I'm not mistaken...
Are you sure about this report?
Skip, I'm just saying what it was saying. Hold on. Okay. So now, every time somebody...
Are you sure about this report?
Skip. Every time...
Do you know Mike Silver?
I do know Mike Silver. I know Mike Silver very well.
Okay.
But here's the thing what I find fascinating. Anytime somebody tries to say something that might be detrimental to Tom Brady, you question the veracity of it. Anytime somebody heaps praise on Tom Brady, you've never called into question anytime somebody has said something positive about Tom Brady. And I need to know why.
Well, because he's the GOAT. He's the greatest ever. He's the greatest clutch player in any sport ever.
So in other words, he's beyond reproach in your estimation.
Because I'm not writing them off. You can do all you want. So I need a conclusion from you today. Is he washed? Is he washed?
When you got no retort for what I just said, hold on, let me finish. When you got no retort for what I just laid out,
Shannon, he has the greatest football mind anybody's ever seen. You know what? If this report is correct, who cares? He should do that. He should do that. I thought he would. Wait a second. I need an answer from you. Who knows more football, Byron Leftwich or Tom Brady? Help me out.
Not who knows more football.
Oh, no, well, you answer the question. Answer the question, because you can't. You can't, because it's an obvious answer.
Okay, he knows so much football. Why is he playing so bad?
Okay, because for 1,000 reasons. Because they've had no continuity on offense all year long, and for some reason they cannot separate. And their offensive line is a shambles. You know it, and I know it.
How many times did he get sacked yesterday?
Can you even name the people that...
How many times did he get sacked?
Okay, here's the stat. Here's all you need to know. He got hit a season high 8 times. All you need to know that he was under pressure 26.4% of the time, which was by far the highest he's been under pressure all year long. How about those numbers? Can you refute those numbers for me?
So let me get you, I want to make sure I'm hearing you correct. Tom Brady has never been hit more in his career, under pressure more in his career, and won a game. Tom Brady, that's what makes Tom Brady great. Through all the adversity, through all the fire, Tom Brady's been able to overcome.
Who has the best defense by far in the National Football League right now? Help me out.
Hold up. So
it's not even close. Did you see what they did to Tua last week?
Yes.
Okay.
Skip.
Well, Brady had a better game than Tua had. Well, he did.
Skip. All I'm saying is this. Tom Brady had a problem. You said Tom Brady should have had a problem with Byron after Tom Brady and Byron Leftwich comes up with a game plan. And here's a guy that was not in the meeting when they came up with it, come in with his red pen scratching out stuff. Now Tom Brady is not up, because most coaches and NFL coaches work between 80 and 100 hours in a 5-6 day week. So Tom Brady the night before, he's making tweaks when he didn't stay up those 80 to 100 hours. So shouldn't they have a problem with that?
Who do you think watches more tape, Tom Brady or all the coaches?
All the coaches.
Stop it.
All the coaches. Skip, I'm not going to let you do it.
No,
I'm not going to let you do it.
Going to do
I don't care.
Because I just
I'm not going to let you be disrespectful to these damn coaches because you love Tom Brady.
Nobody,
Tom Brady does not watch more tape than coaches. He does not.
History of this league,
ladies and gentlemen, that is a flat-out lie.
That's a flat-out lie that you're perpetrating. There's never been anything, because you can't stand it that Tom Brady at 45 is still playing this game at a very high level.
Yeah. You see these numbers? These numbers say Tom Brady's not playing at a high level.
I need you.
No,
okay, you're in the Hall of Fame. because you're scared to death of him because he's haunted you. Time out. Ladies and gentlemen at home, I would like to announce the fact, if you're new to our show, that this man for 6 straight years on this show that we have been partners at this debate desk has tried to send Tom Brady home, said he's washed up, his arm is in decline, and he should just go on home. It started the first day of this show in September of 2016, and he has been wrong for 6 straight years, and he's going to be wrong again. I'm standing by what I say.
How convinced are you Tom Brady's going to win the Super Bowl?
Okay, I picked him to win it. I'm not backing off.
Well, put something on it.
Well, what do you mean I put my pride on it. I put my pride. Who did you pick? You picked the Rams and the Chargers, okay?
And the only difference is, everybody knows the Rams are bad, but they don't want to say Tom Brady is playing just as bad as Matt Stafford.
Them off.
Skip, they're in the Tampa division. They're in the worst division in football.
Good. Are they going to be in the playoffs? Help me out.
Skip,
I need you to
That's your argument.
Okay,
that's your argument.
What do you mean that's my argument?
Your argument is that they're going to be in the playoffs. Is Tom Brady playing bad? Okay. Yes or no?
Yes, he played poorly yesterday.
What do you mean yesterday?
Okay,
all year.
But you're giving him 100% of the blame?
Because
that's just, you have no objectivity. It's just straight Brady hate. Wait a minute. This is just straight hate by a guy who's jealous that he is still playing at a high level at 45 when you had to stop at 35.
That's what you do.
That's the point.
That's what you do. Every time I call something into question, I'm jealous.
No.
Skip, I did what I did.
I never said you were jealous of Baker Mayfield.
Skip, I did what I did. You make it seem like I was a bum. I'm in the effing Hall of Fame.
Okay,
I got 3 Super Bowls.
So what?
So what?
He's way better than you were.
I'm better than you. Skip, what I got to see what you do. You take personal shots.
No, I don't take personal shots. You started it.
Time out. You would take a personal shot at me.
I didn't take a personal shot at you.
Wait a minute.
What are you talking about?
You would take a personal...
Put your glasses back on.
Can I finish? You're willing to take a personal shot at me to say this man is better than me because I say he's playing bad this year?
Well, because you just
go ahead.
You disrespect him. It's just so. You know what? It's beneath your dignity.
You would disrespect me to support him.
No, well, I'll support him over anybody because he's the greatest player who ever played your game, and it's by far.
You're willing to take a personal shot at me to say this man is better than me because I say he's playing bad this year?
Well, because you just
go ahead.
You disrespect him. It's just so. You know what? It's beneath your dignity.
You would disrespect me to support him.
No, well, I'll support him over anybody because he's the greatest player who ever played your game, and it's by far. Okay, so here's what I know. Last year with Tyreek Hill.
Right now.
Hey, stop it! It is my turn.
You going back to last year.
Time out. It is my turn. I gave you all of your phony baloney that you spewed all over the table. It is my turn. It is my turn.
Behind watching the Commanders, New York Giants, and it did what it needed to do. Now those 2 drives, and you were still behind. And come on, Skip, don't do that now. You're being real petty, bro. Let me talk. Let me
haven't said a word.
I know you're doing them. Come on, that's childish. Your team lost. That is very childish. Let me talk.
Your opinion is childish.
Go ahead.
Go.
Go ahead.
No, it's not.
No, I'm not gonna go. Cause you doing this. I'm trying to talk, and you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Seriously?
Yep.
Okay, I'll take it. It is my turn now. And
no. Let me. I got the floor. Because all you do is bring up those 11 games. All you do is go back to talk about when he was a rookie and won 7 games. I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about because I got the floor. Baker Mayfield is dead last in 2022 in QBR.
Blah, blah,
He's
blah.
dead last. I don't care. Blah, blah, blah. He's 57.8. He's 30-30 completion percentage. You gonna let me talk? And I'm gonna continue to go.
All right.
He's 187.
Tell me when it's my turn.
It's not your turn.
Okay.
He's Pro Football Focus got it graded 37%.
Blah, blah, blah.
Okay, go ahead.
Blah, blah, blah. You done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Thank you. Oh, finally. All right.
Blah, blah, blah. No,
I'm going to keep it on the game.
Every time I'm going to interrupt you like you did me. Go ahead.
All right. Well, let's go to the next topic.
Okay, then. Let's go.
All right.
Because you ain't going to do it. You will let me talk like I let you talk.
I let you talk for 8 freaking minutes.
All you do is go back to talk about 2016. You talk about the 11 games. You never stay on topic.
I'm trying to talk about yesterday. Do I get to talk about yesterday?
When I tried to talk about you, hold on. Skip tweeted something, and although I disagree with the tweet, and hopefully Skip would take it down, but I didn't want it.
Well, time out. I'm not going to take it down because I stand by what I tweeted.
I stopped it because we got pulled. Whole stream got pulled.
Wow. Jeez. For skipping Shannon.
The least controversial thing we could talk about.
Wow. Like, okay, that's just part of the news. Like, that's something that everybody knows